Dhammapada Verse 5. Hatred never ends through hatred. Only love and compassion can conquer it. This is an eternal truth. Dhammapada Verse 6. Many fail to realize that harboring hatred only leads to destruction. But those who understand this will let go of hatred and live in peace. Let's dive into the story between best friends named Lila and Mira, the flower field and the flames of hatred. In a serene village by the riverside, there lived two exceptionally talented women, Lila and Mira. Lila was a gifted gardener who could transform barren lands into vibrant fields of flowers. Mira, on the other hand, was a renowned ceramic artist whose works were often displayed at grand festivals. They had been best friends since childhood, sharing joys, dreams, and aspirations. The storm begins. One day, Mira prepared to showcase her finest ceramic vase at the spring festival, a masterpiece she had spent an entire year creating. But just before the festival, the vase vanished. Mira was devastated and furious. Rumors quickly spread throughout the village, with some claiming to have seen Lila near Mira's workshop on the night the vase went missing. "She's probably jealous of Mira's talent," one villager said. "Maybe she wanted to ruin the festival to draw attention to herself," another added. At first, Mira didn't believe the gossip, but as the pressure from the villagers mounted, doubt began to creep into her mind. One person even egged her on. "If you don't act now, people will think you're weak. Call out the thief and protect your reputation." Blinded by reputation, overwhelmed by anxiety about her standing in the village, Mira succumbed to the pressure and began to believe the accusations. "If I don't do something, everyone will turn against me. Maybe Lila really did it," she thought. During a crowded village meeting, Mira, her eyes blazing with anger, stood up and pointed directly at Lila. "She's the one who stole my vase. I trusted her, but she betrayed me. She doesn't deserve forgiveness." Lila's shock and heartbreak. Standing amidst the crowd, Lila was stunned and deeply hurt. The fiery anger in Mira's eyes, her closest friend's eyes, pierced her heart. Stammering, she managed to say, "Mira, you think I did this? I didn't." But Mira refused to let her explain. The villagers, swept up in Mira's fury, began to glare at Lila with contempt. Some shouted, "Thieves must be punished." A painful climax, tears streaming down her face. Lila fled the meeting. Her heart felt unbearably heavy, not just from the false accusation but from the betrayal by her dearest friend. That night, she sat in her flower field, gazing at the withering blossoms suffering from a relentless drought. She murmured to herself, "These flowers are just like me, wilting under the weight of doubt and hatred." But instead of succumbing to anger, Lila resolved to nurture her field of flowers as a way to heal her own soul. Compassion heals all. Weeks passed, and the truth finally came to light. A traveling merchant was caught attempting to sell Mira's ceramic vase at a distant market. When Mira heard the news, she was shocked and overcome with guilt. She ran to Lila's flower field, now blooming more vibrantly than ever. Falling to her knees, Mira wept. "Lila, I let my ambition blind me. I doubted you and wrongfully accused you. Please forgive me." Placing a gentle hand on Mira's shoulder, Lila replied with a serene expression, "Mira, I was deeply hurt, but instead of seeking revenge, I chose to nurture what is good. Hatred can never extinguish hatred. I forgive you." A lesson for all. Their story became a powerful lesson for the entire village. The villagers realized that suspicion and anger only bring pain, while compassion and forgiveness are the only paths to true healing. Lila's flower field remained a symbol of kindness and understanding, and the friendship between Lila and Mira was reborn, stronger than ever. Let's reflect on the story through the lens of Dhammapada Verses 5 and 6. Hatred never ends through hatred. Only love and compassion can conquer it. This is an eternal truth. The Buddha taught that hatred can never resolve conflict. When one responds to hatred with more hatred, it only fans the flames of anger, prolonging the cycle of suffering. Mira, under the pressure of losing her prized vase and fearing for her reputation, chose to accuse Lila publicly without seeking the truth. Her actions not only hurt her closest friend, but also left her tormented by guilt and self-doubt. Blinded by anger and pride, Mira found herself becoming the betrayer in a moment of weakness. Had Lila responded with anger or sought revenge, their relationship would have been irreparably damaged, and both would have been trapped in their suffering. Hatred, like a wildfire, intensifies when met with the same force. The only way to extinguish it is through calmness, compassion, and forgiveness. Hatred is appeased by love. This is an eternal law. The Buddha emphasized that compassion, unconditional love, and forgiveness is the only true antidote to hatred. This timeless truth applies to all situations in life. Lila chose compassion over hatred. Instead of retaliating, she focused on nurturing her flower field, doing something meaningful and positive. Her actions not only healed her own heart, but also softened Mira's, allowing her to see her mistake and return to the right path. Lila's compassion became the cool water that quenched the flames of hatred, turning a broken relationship into a valuable lesson for the entire village. Compassion is not a sign of weakness, but a profound strength. It allows us to rise above pain and anger, fostering reconciliation and healing. When faced with hatred, ask yourself, how can I resolve this conflict with love? Let compassion guide me. Many fail to realize that harboring hatred only leads to destruction, but those who understand this will let go of hatred and live in peace. The Buddha highlighted that many people fail to understand the devastating consequences of holding on to hatred. Hatred not only harms others, but also destroys our own peace of mind, health, and well-being. Mira, overwhelmed by the villagers' accusations and her own anger, quickly accused Lila. This left her consumed by guilt and anxiety, eroding her mental peace. Similarly, the villagers, swept up in suspicion and animosity, lost the harmony that once defined their community. Hatred is like poison. It first destroys the one who carries it. Instead of nurturing hatred, the Buddha taught us to let go, finding peace and freedom from its toxic grip. Whoever realizes this abandons hatred immediately. The Buddha affirmed that only through understanding the futility and harm of hatred can one let it go. Letting go is not an act of forced will but a result of wisdom and mindfulness. When the truth was revealed, Mira realized her mistake. She saw how hatred and societal pressure had clouded her judgment. Thanks to Lila's compassion, Mira found the opportunity to reflect on herself, abandon hatred, and restore their friendship. Lila's act of forgiveness demonstrated her profound wisdom and understanding of hatred's nature. Forgiveness is not for the other person, but to liberate oneself from emotional burdens. Letting go of hatred is an act of self-love and emotional freedom. It allows us to live a life unburdened by negativity and full of inner peace. A reflection on Mira and Lila's story through Dhammapada Verses 5-6. Hatred only causes more suffering. Like Mira, when we let hatred and external pressures control us, we lose our peace of mind and risk damaging precious relationships. Compassion is the key to resolving conflicts. Like Lila, choosing to sow love instead of hatred not only heals our own wounds, but also spreads harmony to others. Letting go of hatred is wisdom. Understanding the nature of hatred enables us to release it naturally, allowing us to live a life of freedom and serenity. This story beautifully illustrates the timeless wisdom of Dhammapada and reminds us that compassion, forgiveness, and mindfulness are the paths to true peace. The power of compassion. Changing your perspective. Compassion acts as a light that illuminates the mind, allowing us to see the true nature of hatred. Hatred doesn't arise naturally. It often stems from ignorance, fear, or deep-seated pain within others. When we recognize this, we no longer perceive those who harm us as enemies, but as individuals who are themselves suffering. Shifting our perspective not only soothes the anger within, but also fosters empathy and the ability to forgive. This is the first and most crucial step in resolving any conflict. Breaking the cycle of hatred. Hatred is like an endless spiral. When one side retaliates with anger, it provokes a similar reaction from the other, creating an unending cycle of pain and suffering that affects not just the two involved, but also those around them. Compassion is the key to breaking this cycle. Rather than reacting instinctively, compassion allows us to respond with wisdom and calmness. By refusing to retaliate, we sever the root of hatred, bringing peace not only to ourselves, but also to everyone involved. Spreading positive energy. Compassion is not merely a state of mind. It is a force that radiates outward. When someone acts with compassion, it is like water quenching a raging fire. Calmness and kindness not only dissolve the anger of others, but also inspire them to change their behavior. Compassion has the power to awaken the good within every individual. Even a small act of compassion can create a ripple effect of positivity throughout a community or society. Attaining freedom for yourself. Hatred is a heavy emotional burden. Holding on to anger and resentment is like carrying a large stone that constantly weighs you down. Compassion provides the solution, freeing you from this burden. Forgiveness is not about whether someone deserves it. It's about granting yourself the peace you deserve. By letting go of hatred, you achieve mental freedom, opening a space for happiness and serenity to flourish. Healing broken relationships. Compassion serves as a bridge between estranged hearts. When relationships are fractured by misunderstanding or hurt, compassion allows us to focus not on the faults of others, but on understanding and reconciliation. It opens the door for dialogue and enables both sides to see the issue with greater depth and sincerity. More importantly, compassion doesn't depend on acknowledgement from the other party. Acting with love and tolerance, we allow time to reveal the truth and restore fairness. Truth has its own power, and compassion allows us to endure the pain while waiting for it to emerge, without losing our inner peace, reducing stress and improving mental health. Negative emotions like anger or resentment don't just affect the mind. They also take a serious toll on physical health. These feelings create immense stress on the nervous system, leading to conditions like anxiety, insomnia, or even illness. Compassion, in contrast, brings calmness and balance to the soul. When we practice compassion, we replace negative impulses with empathy and love. This not only soothes mental unrest, but also helps us maintain emotional stability. A peaceful mind leads to a healthy body, and compassion forms the foundation for holistic well-being. Inspiring the community. Compassion is not only transformative on a personal level, it also has the power to ripple through communities. When one person practices compassion, they become a shining example, motivating those around them to follow suit. The power of compassion extends beyond resolving conflict. It fosters an environment of peace where human values are cherished. Within a community, the compassion of one individual can spark positive change, building trust, encouraging cooperation, and creating an atmosphere of mutual respect and love. Connecting with profound spiritual values. Compassion is not just a virtue in daily life. It is a core principle in many spiritual paths, particularly in the teachings of the Buddha. Compassion connects us with universal values such as love, tolerance, and forgiveness. By practicing compassion, we live in harmony with others and, more importantly, with ourselves and the universe. Acting with compassion draws us closer to the purity of our soul, helping us transcend the limits of the ego. This brings a deep sense of life's meaning and lasting happiness. Practical applications in daily life. Facing hostility. Compassion is not weakness. It is the strength of patience and wisdom. When faced with hostility, compassion keeps us from being swept away by negative emotions, allowing us to remain composed. This not only prevents us from hurting others, but also preserves our self-respect and emotional safety. In everyday communication, compassion is the glue that binds people together. In communication, when we listen with empathy and without judgment, we break down barriers and build trust. Compassion can mend broken relationships and turn strangers into friends. Compassion is not merely a moral virtue. It is a timeless force capable of resolving hatred and fostering peace. By changing our perspective, breaking the cycle of hatred, spreading positive energy, and letting go of emotional burdens, we not only free ourselves but also contribute to creating a better world. Effective ways to cultivate compassion. Here are some practical and impactful ways to develop compassion. helping you practice and spread this precious value in daily life. Practice loving kindness meditation, metta bhavana. Loving kindness meditation is a common Buddhist practice to nurture compassion. You can start by focusing on yourself and sending wishes of well-being. May I be peaceful, healthy, and happy. Gradually expand this intention to include loved ones, friends, neutral individuals, and finally, those who have hurt you. Cultivate gratitude. Compassion begins with a deep awareness of the good around us. Each day, reflect on or write down 3 things you are grateful for. This practice softens your heart and opens your mind to kindness. Let go of resentment. Compassion cannot thrive while holding on to hatred. Focus on releasing negative emotions and understand that harboring resentment only brings pain to yourself. Quietly thank those who have caused you pain. They provide you the opportunity to practice compassion. Listen and empathize. Practice listening to others without judgment. Understanding their emotions and stories is a profound way to grow your compassion. Instead of criticizing, seek to comprehend their circumstances and offer empathy. Small acts, big impact. Every day, perform one small act of kindness. Help someone in need. Say a kind word to encourage someone. Share what you have with those who need it. Recognize and transform negative emotions. When anger or jealousy starts to arise, pause and ask yourself, will this feeling make me or others better? Replace it with positive thoughts and compassionate actions immediately. Practice forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful way to free your soul from the burden of hurt. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning mistakes, but letting go to liberate yourself. Connect with nature. Nature is a profound source of inspiration for compassion. Spend time observing its harmony and recognize that all forms of life deserve love and protection. Learn from inspirational figures. Read books, listen to teachings, or study the lives of compassionate individuals such as the Buddha, Mother Teresa, or other saints. Their examples serve as motivation to nurture compassion within yourself. Reflect on impermanence. Recognizing that everything in life is impermanent helps reduce attachment and makes it easier to open your heart to others. When you understand that everything is subject to change, you'll naturally live with greater compassion. Foster compassion through art. Explore writing, drawing, or creating music about the beauty of life. Art is a wonderful way to awaken compassion and share these emotions with others. Compassion is not just a quality to cultivate. It's a path to discovering the true meaning of life. Start with small, daily acts of kindness, and compassion will become a guiding light for you and those around you. Compassion, the source of enlightenment and inner peace. In the Buddha's golden teachings, compassion holds a pivotal role, like a guiding light illuminating the path of practice and liberation. Gautama Buddha, embodying compassion and wisdom, not only preached these values but lived them fully. Why did the Buddha place compassion at the forefront of his teachings and practices? Simply because compassion is the root of all virtuous deeds, the fountain from which beings are freed from suffering and guided toward the light of wisdom and liberation. Compassion is not merely a virtue but the true essence of the Buddha's heart. It is like a refreshing stream that washes away all pain, hatred, and accumulated karma over lifetimes. The Buddha taught that all phenomena arise from the mind, and when the mind abides in compassion, actions, speech, and thoughts are all guided by love and tolerance. This creates good karma, dissolves negative karma, and opens the door for wisdom to emerge. Through the story of Lila and Mira, we see the transformative power of compassion in dissolving hatred. Thanks to her compassion, Lila not only healed her fractured relationship with Mira, but also awakened a sense of reflection among the villagers who had turned their backs on her. The power of compassion extends beyond mending relationships or resolving hatred. It is the key to freeing the soul from the bonds of the material world, where we are often ensnared by illusions, deceptions, and illusions. Sentient beings often live in a state obscured by ignorance. We hear too many lies and see too many illusions of fame, wealth, and power, to the point of forgetting our true nature, our Buddha nature, our innate compassion. The Buddha taught that to escape suffering and achieve a state of serene liberation, we must return to our true selves. This is not an unattainable goal, but a daily practice of compassion. Compassion not only benefits ourselves, but also radiates outward to the community. When we live with compassion, our actions become a source of inspiration for others. One individual can create profound change in society. Thus, following the Buddha's teachings and walking his path is something we should commit to right now. Compassion is the light that leads us through the darkness of this world, the path that liberates us from the cycle of birth and death, and the means to achieve absolute freedom of the soul. Practice compassion here and now. It is not just an act, it is a way of life, a way to return to your true self, and a way to live fully in the light of wisdom and love. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time to watch our video today. We hope that the insights shared have brought value and inspiration to your journey through life. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to click like to support us, share to spread the message to more people, and leave a comment below to share your thoughts with us. Also, don't forget to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay updated on our upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in more meaningful content soon.